Sword Demon and Tao Recluse. Late Northern Song Dynasty, atop Mount Hua, amid raging wind and snow. Huang Shang, then 76 years old, was originally a court literati who had spent years proofreading the Wanshou Daozheng. With no master to guide him, he had spontaneously comprehended a profound internal art, soft on the outside, yet rigid within, unfathomably deep. In the second year of Xuanhe, he was ordered to suppress the Ming Cult, but after killing several of their Dharma King emissaries, he drew the encirclement and attack of numerous martial heroes. Rumors spread through the jianghu that this was a demon extermination assembly, the second Huashan sword debate. Yet in truth, it was 10,000 people hunting down one old man. Huang Shang escaped gravely wounded, retreating into deep mountains. He vowed to unravel all martial arts under heaven and create a supreme manual to avenge the slaughter of his family. At the same time, a young swordsman roamed the jianghu, surnamed Dugu, who styled himself Qiubai, seeker of defeat. Born into an old Qiubai clan, before age 20 he wielded a razor-sharp longsword and contended with the heroes of Hebei. Before 30, he switched to the violet soft sword, his swordsmanship swift and ethereal, rarely meeting a match as he traveled the rivers and lakes. Driven by an intense desire to win, he heard that a great demon named Huang Shang was plaguing the martial world and, sword in hand, hurried to Huashan to test himself against this legendary master. On the summit of Huashan, figures crowded everywhere. The assembled heroes surrounded Huang Shang, blades flashing in unison. Huang Shang's inner power was vast. His palm winds surged like tides. Alone he fought dozens of masters, yet ultimately, one man could not prevail against many. Just as his strength was failing, a streak of violet light flashed past a black-clad youth wielding a soft sword charged into the fray. "Stand aside! Let me face this old demon!" Dugu Qiubai shouted. Seeing his swordsmanship strange and ferocious, the heroes dared not engage and withdrew one by one. Huang Shang raised his head and saw in the young man's eyes nothing but pure fighting spirit, not a trace of killing intent. The two clashed. Huang Shang relied on inner strength, his palm force endless and continuous. Dugu Qiubai prevailed through sword technique, his soft sword coiling like a spirit snake, unpredictable in its changes. They fought for 3 days and 3 nights. Gradually, Huang Shang fell to leeward. Dugu Qiubai's sword grazed his shoulder, blood splattering the white snow. With one palm, Huang Shang forced his opponent back and drifted down the mountain. Dugu Qiubai stood atop the snowy peak, his long sword lowered, yet his heart held no joy. He had won, but the victory brought no satisfaction. That old man's inner power was profound. Had his own swordsmanship not been exquisite, the outcome would have been uncertain. What truly startled him was that the other bore no demonic aura. On the contrary, he radiated upright righteousness. Later, Dugu Qiubai learned the truth. Huang Shang had been a court official, framed by the Ming Cult, in league with the martial world, his entire family slain. Filled with remorse, he cried, "I have wrongly injured a righteous man." There and then he cast his violet soft sword into a deep ravine, forged instead a heavy sword of black iron, shifting his swordsmanship from clever to plain, rampaging unchallenged through the world in search of defeat. Huang Shang secluded himself in the mountains, pondering bitterly for 40 years, until he finally fused all martial arts under heaven into one, creating the Nine Yin Manual. When he emerged, most of his enemies had already died of old age. Only one old woman remained, the girl who had joined the encirclement on Huashan that year. With a sigh, he laid down his blade, hid the manual in a secret place, and departed like the wind. After 40, Dugu Qiubai's heavy sword lacked a sharp edge, great skill, appearing artless, yet he remained invincible across the land. In his later years, he lived in seclusion in a deep valley, befriending a giant eagle. With a wooden sword, he met no resistance. Grass, wood, bamboo, and stone could all serve as his blade, until at last he reached the realm of no sword. In his sword mound, he left these words: "For more than 30 years, I have roamed the jianghu, slain all enemies, defeated all heroes. No rival remains under heaven. In my life, I sought one worthy foe, but found none, truly a desolate sorrow." He never knew that the opponent from that battle on Huashan, Huang Shang, had become another legend. In their lifetimes, one sword, one manual. One sought defeat, one sought to break all arts, yet fate denied them a second meeting. Later generations in the jianghu, whenever they spoke of this, would always sigh. If the two had fought again, who would have won? Perhaps victory or defeat no longer mattered. Invincibility is the loneliest thing of all.